first off talk about the what appears to be the ongoing Republican implosion in the House. This is going to have real implications in terms of we could be looking at either a debt ceiling crisis again or a government shutdown. And we may be just literally now a couple of weeks away from a government shutdown. What we have is essentially the continuing resolution, which is due to come up in, I think, a couple of days. The Republicans keep postponing a vote in the House, Boehner, because he doesn't have the votes to pass it. And, of course, it's because the party is so crazy.
Yeah, this is a continuing theme in our conversations again and again and again. But I don't, nothing's changed. We elected not we personally, but our country elected a group of willfully stupid people to be in Congress, people that really aren't qualified much to run the lawnmower, much less this country. Look, it's not a joke, really. It's serious. But there are people that just one after another. You just see the recently that Michelle Bachmann and Louis Gohmert and Steve King were over in Egypt talking.
Oh, yeah.
They allow those three people to actually go over to another country and open their mouths. You literally couldn't find three bigger stooges if you tried. And so these are people that actually represent us in Congress, and they are so dumb, and they're such children intellectually. They behave the same way. Having young kids, I'm in a playground all the time, and I swear I could sit here and make comparisons between the way kids behave and these guys behave again and again. And so, they don't live in reality. They don't live in a place where science exists. They don't live in a place where reason wins the day. And so, I don't know what you can do to convince these people to do anything that resembles common sense. And morons that the Republican Party, are made up of. These establishment Republicans helped obviously create this. We've talked about that with what's going on with Mitch McConnell. We've talked about this on the show before. They created this Frankenstein. They have redistricted in such a way so that this group of imbeciles has nothing to fear except for somebody running further to the right, which I'm not sure how that happens. Unless you run on Franco's platform, maybe Pinochet's. I don't really know how you get to the right of some of these current people, but somebody here in Cincinnati found a way to get to the right of Jean Schmidt in a primary, and knocked her out because she wasn't conservative enough. So it is possible, I guess, always to move further to the right. Maybe summary executions on the street for not cutting your hair if you're a man, or I don't know what the hell they can do, but I wish I had anything more positive to offer. I don't really know what you can do with these people. I really don't.
What's interesting is that we've seen these sort of like over the past couple of weeks, all these different stories about how specifically the way that the Republicans have been raising money, have been ginning up their base on this notion that they're going to be able to get rid of Obamacare. And everyone knows that's impossible because the president will never sign a piece of legislation that will get rid of Obamacare. And so what we have now is a chunk of about 50 Republican House members who refuse to do anything that does not involve defunding Obamacare. So the other day you were supposed to have on Wednesday, a bill to continue funding the federal government. They showed that there were 18 votes that they could not get to pass this continuing resolution, even though they had put into it a symbolic defunding of Obamacare. It was basically so that their House members could vote to defund Obamacare. It would have been stripped out.
Because they really haven't done that enough.
Exactly.
I don't know that they're on the record on that one yet.
63 times or whatever it is. And so they cannot pass a continuing resolution. They tried to sweeten the pot by locking in some sequester cuts that still wouldn't sweeten the pot enough for Republicans. Democrats aren't going to help them out. There is only apparently 5 scheduled legislative days to pass a continuing resolution before the government would shut down on October 1st. And so the Boehner is running around saying, like, I can't get this bill passed. He's afraid of bringing up a bill that would pass with Democratic support and not a majority Republican support, because that would break his Hastert rule, which we were all
They've
promised.
broken a few times already
Yes,
on when they wanted to pass really controversial things like not having men beat women up.
Right.
Stuff like that. They save it for the really controversial things to do it. I think Boehner should just let out his inner Boehner and just go on a rampage.
Well,
he's not going to be speaker anymore soon,
and he's probably going to leave. He's going to probably leave the House too.
Right, he's a drunk. We all know that. He likes to smoke. I think he should just get a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. James Dean goes Dean style, and just maybe get a big bottle of scotch, bring it to the floor, start chugging, and just start punching people.
That would be that would at least be something entertaining. Now, Jonathan Cohn has a couple of theories on why the House...
Or a good caning. We haven't had a good caning in 150 or so years.
Why the House Republicans are still doing this. And he's got three options. One is they are just simply delusional. They actually think that Obamacare is an existential threat to the country.
And to be clear, like, they do say... Again, that's what we talked about last time. That got McConnell in trouble, because it was like, well, if this is such a threat, then why won't you do more about it? I mean, they still talk like that. A representative in that, the piece that you're talking about, Representative, was it Fleming from Louisiana, who I think it may be taking on Mary Landrieu. It want to run in the Senate, run for the Senate seat. So of course he's got a motivation to be as crazy as he can possibly be. Was saying that this is the biggest economic threat to this country since the Great Depression. Now, like, you either, to utter that statement, you're either perhaps the stupidest man alive, or you're playing to people that are the stupidest people alive. And they sometimes it's not mutually exclusive, obviously. It seems to all be one and the same.
And the problem is those people are saying, you wrote the check, now it's time to cash it.
That's right.
And they can't cash it. And so it's just a function. They feel like they need to do this. The other theory that Jonathan Cohn has over at the New Republic is they're savvy. And he's saying that maybe conservatives realize they can't get rid of Obamacare, but they're hoping for leverage to get a better deal in terms of cutting, in terms of sequester cuts. So they want more cuts on non-defense spending. They want to raise defense spending. The problem is they won't be able to get any Democrats to sign off on that at all. And so that's not going to happen.
It's not. Yeah, that's the thing. There may be some savviness from Boehner. There may be some savviness from some of the guys that have been around pre-Tea Party. I don't think the 50 or so lunatics threading that stuff. I don't think that's savviness. I just think they're crazy people.
And then go ahead.
And Boehner may try to. Oh, I was just saying, Boehner may try to use them in a way that's more savvy to get what he wants. But as you point out, if it's a ridiculous deal, it's not going to end up getting done. It won't get through that. It won't even get through the House, much less see the light of day in the Senate. So I mean, it's I don't know. Again, I don't know what the answer is. You've got, this is like pre-Civil War politics. You've got 50, 75, however many Republicans that literally are just happy enough to take this country down if they don't get what they want.
And
I mean,
and Cohn's final sort of theory is that they're selfish insofar as, for Ted Cruz and for Heritage Action and for the all these Tea Party guys, they don't care what happens to their party writ large. They don't care what happens to the country. More importantly, they just know that, they've got a bunch of lunatics who are responsible for either getting them through the Republican presidential primary or getting them reelected in their own district, and they're just going to continue to play this game. I mean, Ted Cruz coming out saying, Jesse Helms was God's gift. I mean, this guy's just, he knows where...
We can only have 100 more like him in the
Yes.
Senate. Which, right away, it's hard to understand his math on that, because if there are 100 Jesse Helmses and one Ted Cruz, that wouldn't equal 100. So right away I started questioning that basis. But,
right.
but
Ted
beyond...
Cruz would willingly willingly resign from the Senate and have himself replaced.
To allow that to happen. But beyond his challenge in the area of math is a challenge of the fact that obviously this should be the kind of thing akin to Trent Lott praising Strom Thurmond's presidential run in 1948. I mean, this guy Jesse Helms, as David Broder wrote back in I think 90, whenever it was, late 90s or early 2000s when Helms walked away. And Broder, of course, not known for his fierce liberalism or anything that was not cautious, wrote that this basically was the last openly racist person to be leaving the Senate, and hopefully would be the last. That would be the last of what we would see of that generation. I mean, the guy, got on an elevator once with Carol Moseley Braun, who was African American, and whistled Dixie. I mean, he was, this is the kind of person he was. He was openly racist to people's faces and contemptuous of African Americans. So to praise him, that should be a scandal. But these days, nothing's a scandal unless you're twerking half naked on a stage.
In the final analysis, Ezra Klein has an interesting point in a piece that he wrote today, which is that all things being equal, a government shutdown may be a decent way to avert disaster because it will cause pain for the Republicans, because we know polling shows that they're going to get blamed for a government shutdown, and it will prevent them from doing the same thing with the debt ceiling. The concern that he has is that Boehner and Cantor may just try and punt and say, give us the continuing resolution, and we promise to destroy the country by refusing to pay our bills under the debt ceiling and creating a debt ceiling crisis. But this is, it really is stunning. It is watching sort of a segment of the party just take them over a cliff. And they're all responsible for it because they all created this monster, and now they got to deal with it.